welcome to the show. My name is Shelley Harrison, and you are watching the National Veterans Radio Network. And we come on here every Friday to enlighten you with phenomenal people, our veterans and the communities that they serve, and organizations like the one that we have on today. We're going to introduce you to some visitors that we're going to be having from Puerto Rico. So I want you to, just really absorb this show because we have some great information that's going to be shared. We want to thank our audience for tuning in. We're live. We're on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and plenty of other platforms. And we want to thank our team, our National Veterans Radio Network team for the work that they do, and our executive director, Joseph Molina. And then we have Jimmy Aldong, who is behind the scenes producing the show, making sure everybody looks great on camera and the sound and everything is working. So without further ado, I want to be sure that you can ask your questions live on the show with our guests. And please hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you get notified with all of our new shows that are coming out. So let me go ahead, and we're going to have our first guest, who I know very well, and I'm very excited to bring him on the show. His name is Daniel Alexa, and let me get to my notes here. I know him very well, and can you believe it? I need to look at my notes. So Daniel Alexa, he is the Trust Catalyst, a keynote speaker, best-selling author, award-winning hypnotherapist, life coach, trainer, and certified disc practitioner. And Daniel is the president of Transcendent Living and a radio host on Connected Women of Influence with his show Inspired Being. And it's men's perspective. So even though it's Connected Women of Influence, it's all about the men's perspectives as well. So I want to go ahead and welcome Daniel Alexa onto the show. How are you, Daniel?
I'm great, Shelley. How are you?
I'm doing really well. And I want to thank you for being on the show today. And I know how supportive you are of all of our veterans. And, if there's anything specific you want to mention about our veterans, I'd love for you to just share, what your experience is, or if there's something in particular that you'd like to share.
Today is particularly close to my heart, being August 4th, that it's National Coast Guard Day, the founding of the Coast Guard in 1790. And I am a prior Coastie.
Oh,
9 years in the reserve. So today is
wow.
particularly poignant to me.
Well, we appreciate that. And thank you for your service. I
think Shelley's having some technical issues. So, but I would like to kind of just continue with our conversation. And Shelley said that you are a hypnotherapist.
Yes.
And that is something that is very interesting. And is this something that you do for treatment, or something you for fun?
Treatment mainly. So most of my clients are looking to overcome obstacles in their life that are mostly deep-seated old beliefs that are not serving them in their life here and now to move forward towards success. And so I use hypnotherapy as a tool to help understand what's been driving them as a belief that's not helping them succeed, and then help them overwrite that and write a new script that they can live into in the now to create forward.
That's very interesting, knowing that perception of reality is perception. So the way we think, and the way we think makes us feel a certain way. The way we feel a certain way, it creates our behavior and our beliefs. So that's why you change. You change that mechanism.
Yeah. So looking at the chain down to behavior, beliefs create the values, which create the attitudes.
Absolutely.
And then shows up in how we behave, or how we present to others. And if we're not showing up in a way that's particularly engaging or supportive, particularly for our success, what's driving that chain going back? And that's where the hypnotherapy really dials into helping to shift the internal perspectives of the person to then be in a mode and a movement of success.
That is very cool.
Yeah. And
Shelley, you have a
can you
question?
hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Sorry about that interruption. I'm not sure what that was. So, so back to Daniel. So, Daniel, as far as trust catalyst, you are the trust catalyst. And can you share with our audience, what does that mean for you? And that's something that you really have stepped into, and it's very intriguing.
What I So I jumped out of a perfectly good airplane earlier this year for the first time ever. And in that
Yeah.
moment of, if I would describe myself as screaming like a little girl in the first 5 seconds, it would be derogatory to little girls. I was screaming that badly. And there came a point in the free fall where I realized either the chute on the person behind me that I'm tandem to is going to open and I've got no problem, or it's not. And I have nothing to worry about. So enjoy the ride. And that's when it suddenly hit me that fear and trust are two sides of the same coin. That when we're in that moment of decision, we can either stay with the fear of everything that's known that's brought us to that point, then we don't move forward, or trust that everything's going to be okay on the other side of it. And that opens up all new possibilities in creating something new. So my work is to catalyze that feeling of trust in the people I work with, that they don't get stuck in the fear that things aren't going to work out well. It's always a movement forward.
Yeah, no, that is fascinating. And, I know you have a very special trip that you're leaving for tomorrow. And I would love for you to kind of share kind of the meaning behind, you're going to Peru. And this is something that you do these trips internationally. But tell us that kind of the essence of what this trip is all about.
The essence of it is to help those participants who come down to reconnect to themselves. And mainly the work I do there is based in hypnotherapy, particularly past life regression. So the individuals coming down have to be aligned with that belief system that they've been here before. And using some of the templates from the work of Michael Newton, who wrote Life Between Lives, that when we come into this life, that in the space between, we signed a contract. We agreed to what we were going to live for, what our purpose was. And in my perspective, we also chose the obstacles that we put in our way. It's all personal choice before we ever get here in this meat suit, but we don't remember
In the
it.
meat suit.
So the work is, one day we do the past life most associated to purpose in this one, to understand why, and then the past life most associated to the obstacles chosen. So we understand that why, that then the obstacles can be released more easily than struggling against them. They're there to help us get stronger to live the purpose.
Yeah.
And then on the last day, we do the integration of the wisdom. So it's really about connecting to, it's called the soul purpose retreat, really connecting back to our soul essence of who we really are beyond this.
Yeah, and it's fascinating to be able to, go to another country and really experience this. And I mean, the pictures that you've shared on social media are beautiful. And I did see the pictures of you jumping out of an airplane too. So I had anxiety just watching that. But the trips, I know, that's where you really have, a lot of passion. And I think that's wonderful that, you're able to help people in that way. What do you enjoy most about the work that you do, Daniel, with, when you take into consideration all of your certifications, all of the things that, that you've worked hard to accomplish, what work do you enjoy most?
For me, it's
What part of it?
about seeing the person across from me light up and remember how powerful they are, and to be really inspired after, particularly after they've been living feeling less than or not good enough or low self-esteem, to
Yeah.
see them reconnect to their essence and start taking action to change their life, and sustainable action that they can keep rolling with.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's again, I really applaud you for the work that you do, because I think a lot of us, we're walking around, even our veterans, where they have, all of these things that they've done throughout their career in the military, coming out of it in civilian life. It's important to, to really connect with yourself, and I know that, you've been doing this work for a long time too. So and the fact that you are a radio host, so you have a radio show that you do with Connected Women of Influence. Tell us about that show.
So inspired being is about connecting to people who've come to those points in life where they had the struggle and they had the breakthrough either through the doing or they had just a really major breakthrough that was right in the moment. And who are they? How are they living life? Who are they being in that space to inspire others? Because it's not so much about the doing. We get caught up too much in being human doings. Now, who
Yeah.
are you? And carrying that forward.
Wow. And if you really had to think about something you could share with people right now, that knowing the work that you do, that you could help other people, what would you recommend for people to use, and whether it's their daily, practice, or something that they can, learn how to do? What would you recommend for people?
Gratitude exercises.
Gratitude.
That's the heart of it. We get so
Mm.
stuck on seeing obstacles, and there's a whole scientific part of it that goes back to brain science. The what fires together, what wires together, and you get more of what you focus on. If you're
Yeah.
looking for the problems, you're going to see more of them. As you start doing gratitude exercises, you see the opportunities because they're both always present.
What gratitude exercise could you recommend? I mean, if you had to just do one, what would that be?
In the morning, I would offer two. So the book, The 5 Minute Journal, is awesome. It's five
Oh,
questions a
5
day.
minute journal.
So 5 Minute Journal is fantastic. At the core of it, what are you looking forward to in the day?
Mhm.
Projecting forward, and then at night reflecting back. What were you thankful for in
Yeah.
the day, and what are you looking forward to tomorrow? And
Um,
that will really dial it in.
and that really sets the tone for the
It
day
does.
when you do that kind of gratitude work. And yeah, and how can people reach you, Daniel? Because I know, people are gonna, number one, they're probably gonna see the Chiefs in back of you. So Chief fans are gonna be reaching out too, I'm sure.
Yep.
And then how can people reach you if
They
they wanna learn a little bit more about you and connect?
Sure, they can reach me through email at daniel@transcendentliving.com, or they feel free to call me at 310-746-5929. I will be out of the country for the next week, but I will follow up on
Yeah.
all messages on the 14th.
Oh, well, we definitely appreciate you being on the show, Daniel. We'll make sure that it's in the show notes, and, have a safe trip to Peru. We'll
Thank
be
you.
thinking about you, and we appreciate you being on the show. And, just we'll invite you back when, after you're back from Peru, maybe in a few months, and revisit and see how your trip went.
Sounds awesome. Look forward to it. Have a great
Yeah.
weekend. Take care.
Thank you. You too, Daniel. Thank you so much for being on the show.
You're
All
welcome.
right. Take care. All right. So now we are going to have our next two guests. And like I mentioned earlier, they're coming to us from Puerto Rico. And I want to go ahead and mention a little bit about our two guests. So we have, and let me get to my notes here. We have, like I mentioned, let's see, where did I have my notes here, and I promise you, I have good questions to ask them. So I have Carmen Rosario, who is a commander, and she is one of the first women in 100 years in Puerto Rico to be named a commander. And then, in addition to that, we have Jose Ismail Irizarry Betancourt. Again, they're coming to us from Puerto Rico. So I want to welcome them both to the show.
Buenas
Well,
tardes a
hello
todos. Good
there. Good
afternoon.
afternoon, and welcome to the National Veterans Chamber of Commerce. I'm so excited because you're both
Oh, it's
you both have so much wonderful energy, and I appreciate you being here. We all appreciate you being here from Puerto Rico. And Carmen, if you could share, I mean, I'm just so excited for you. Here in the United States, we always talk about women advancing in all different parts of industries. And here you are, you have this wonderful designation. Let's talk about that.
okay. Well, I'm actually the first female in 100 years to be the department commander for the American Legion, Department of Puerto
Wow.
Rico. We also cover the Virgin Islands.
Oh,
And we have posts in the Dominican Republic, and we have 5 posts in the Virgin Islands. And in Puerto Rico, we have 48 posts active right now.
yeah.
Yes. And the American Legion is one of the biggest organizations that serve the veteran community. and we also serve the widows, and we're out there in the community doing what we need to do for the veterans
Mm,
and the community.
yes. And, tell us,
We've been on board since 1919.
say that again.
Since we've been on board since 1919.
Wow. Wow. That is history right there. Yeah. And for yourself, I know that, you've been doing this kind of work for a long time. And can you share a little bit about yourself with our audience, Carmen?
Okay. Well, I'm retired Army. I was an Army nurse. I'm a retired captain from the United States Army.
Thank you for your
I'm a
service.
mother
Thank you for your
of
service.
five.
We
I
command,
have 14
yes, we
grandchildren.
salute you. 14 grandchildren, huh?
14
Oh,
grandchildren. I have two sons that are veterans and they're Purple Hearts. I have
oh,
my father's a Korean War veteran and he also was Purple Heart. And I have four uncles that were actually boarding engineers. So I come from and my two brothers are also
wow.
veterans. So I
Yeah.
mean, military runs in our family long way. We go way back.
Yes. Well, gosh, we salute your entire family and, that's dedication. I mean, for an entire family, you've got, a lot of, wonderful relatives and, close relatives who are doing great work for our military. And we appreciate that and including yourself. Yeah.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Yeah, and then we're going to turn it over to Jose for a little bit. And, Jose, tell us a little bit about your role and, what's going on with you in terms of, Puerto Rico and where you're really making an impact right now.
Well, actually, the idea that we have 4 years ago, we started with Veteranos con Puerto Rico is the company. And we discovered that there was like many other different situations that veterans have. There's certain benefits that we don't know that we
Yeah.
have. So we discovered that this specific service, which is called home aid and assistance, we are helping veterans and widows in Puerto Rico to obtain this compensation that is a lifetime
Wow.
compensation. They can have like 109 hours of home aid and assistance until they
Yeah.
die, and the widows. So those things that happened 4 years ago. Now we're kind of almost 5 years, but we discovered, and not only that, the one situation that we have, there is, that there is over 330,000 Puerto Ricans that have
Oh
served
my
as
goodness.
veterans, and then actually right now there is around 1.3 million Hispanics, Latinos that are
Oh,
veterans. And that is basically, and that's why one of our missions is to be able to inform in
yeah.
Spanish our services, and then with the Carmen and the Legion, we have our own radio program that Joseph Molina is being in our
Oh,
program, in the radio
congratulations.
program.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we need to
Exactly.
communicate things. We call it 3 C's, the 3 C's: communication, community, and the compromise that you
Right.
have. So, and then we have one section in the TV every third Friday of the month, that we are in the Guapa America, which is a big station. A lot of Hispanic have seen us
Oh,
all over the United States. And so our mission is to create Puerto Rico a veteran-friendly destination that people can come from San Diego and join our Veteran Chamber of Commerce in Puerto
oh.
Rico, and then we can do business together. And that's our
Yes, and I
program.
love the mission. Uh, our mission is veterans are to be united, to be inclusive, as we were called to duty as one unit service above self all the way. And I mean, that really hit me
That
because here you are, you both are in Puerto Rico and, we've got our, military here in the US, but it's all, together and united. And that's what I love. I think that it's just very noble, the work that you're both doing. Most definitely.
Well, actually, the name of the radio program is Héroes de Puerto Rico, Veteranos
Oh,
Somos Uno. We need that Héroes de Puerto Rico
Which is
and Veteranos Somos Uno, because we are
yeah.
all
we are
one.
all one. It's actually Heroes of Puerto Rico, Veterans,
Oh,
we are one.
wow.
So that's
Yeah,
in English, but in Spanish, I like the way it sounds in Spanish.
It does. It flows
yeah.
beautifully. And where can people
But
find the show?
Well, the show they can find in Noti Uno. I can post what later. I will give you the information. But every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. in one of the largest conglomerate in Puerto Rico, it's called Noti Uno, and Noti Uno you can and they will be
Yeah,
tomorrow.
tomorrow's
Carmen is
Saturday.
the co-host of the program.
Oh,
Yes, I'm the co-host of the program. Yes,
oh,
it's actually
Yeah,
Noti Uno.
yeah.
It's Noti Uno. It's Noti Uno 630 punto
6:30.
yeah punto
Notiuno630.com,
yeah.
dot com.
and you can,
That's what it is.
yeah, and you can get it, and then look for the Héroes de Puerto Rico, and then
And then
we're
you'll
gonna
find
be
the
there, and we invite
oh,
all the Hispanics are watching this show at this time. I know they have to be a lot that,
that's
to be
wonderful.
able to connect with
Oh,
us, and be able to share your experiences with the show like Joseph
yeah.
did. Joseph, is a combination of spaghetti and tacos.
Oh gosh.
Yes,
And
because
for those of
yeah,
those folks that Joe is our executive director for the National Veterans Chamber of Commerce. So we were happy that he was on your show, and I'll have to go back and listen to it. And I hope, because I wish I knew how to speak Spanish. I know just a
well,
few words. So, but
but you don't have to in the show. Remember, you don't have to in our show. It's completely bilingual. We go in and out. We call it Spanglish. We go in and out with everything. So
oh
so you're more than welcome,
yeah.
Shelly, to participate in our show, and we will be glad you to share with us all the good things that you're doing there in San
Oh,
Diego
I
too.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. And I know you probably bring on some amazing people that are doing wonderful work all over the world. Yeah.
Well, actually, tomorrow it's interesting that we have, according to Daniel, because of his work, what we call it the healthy vet section
Yeah.
in our show. So tomorrow we're gonna have how to build a garden of your
Oh,
life. Your life could be a garden with a doctor. Her name is Yaricel Rodriguez. She's a
yeah.
psychologist. So we're gonna start because one of our the commander main situation is health,
Yes.
especially the mental health of our
Right.
veterans, because we are they are like 22 veterans that commit suicide every month, and one of the things that we want to do is provide the veterans for information and different alternatives that they can enhance their well-being,
Yes.
like Daniel is using with his
Right.
program. So we have tomorrow a psychologist that is going to talk about how to, like Dan is doing, making a garden of
Yes,
your
and I
life.
love
You
that
see?
analogy because, a lot of people can relate to a healthy garden, with vegetables and flowers
Yes.
and having that applied to your life, that's so important because, like you pointed out, there are a lot of suicides within, our military and it's unfortunate. And there are a lot of causes out there that are helping and supporting, and your radio show is one of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you too. What are you doing? Because it's very important. Because all this communication is extremely important. Just to give you an idea, our mailman, he's a veteran,
Oh.
and and he started listening to the program. He told me today that he finished his
Oh my
degree
gosh.
with this.
Yeah. Huh.
He's now a tool die maker because he heard it in our program.
Oh,
You see, so the stories like that makes a difference. And that's why we need the Veteran Chamber of Commerce. That's why we need organizations such as the Veteran Chamber of
yes.
National, because it's to get together people and to be able to become a entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because we call it
That's
entrepreneurship.
mhm.
You see, it's about, yeah, it's about being an entrepreneur as a
Yeah.
veteran, and there's a big opportunities all over because there are big issues with veterans that is going to start increasing, like so there is a big opportunity to be able to share information like we are doing at
It's
this time.
important.
We
Yes,
really
the
appreciate it.
communication
Yes,
and, different perspectives that can connect the
Mhm.
dots, I believe. Yeah, most definitely.
yes.
And I wanted to ask Carmen. So Carmen, there are a lot of women that watch our show. What would you recommend to those women who are working hard that want to really take or make a difference in their communities, in their organizations. And, you know, here you are, you've got this wonderful designation and the first woman in 100 years. That's so exciting. But what advice would you give them?
I would just tell them, you know what, set your goals, move forward. Don't let nothing stop you. Nothing's impossible once you set your goals.
Oh,
And you have to work hard.
yes. Then you have to work hard. That's key too. And
It's very important to support your team, you know?
yeah.
Hey, it's just moving forward. Don't let nothing stop you. The sky is how it's the limit.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that. And, you know, we have our executive director, Joseph Molina, who's just joined us. And we're almost towards the end of the show, but we wanted to turn the show over to Joe and have him say a few words.
Well, just thank you, Shelley. And I just wanted to thank Jose and Carmen for coming on the show. I know we have developed a great relationship with Puerto Rico, and now we are connected in a very special way. And I heard you guys talking about the entrepreneurship and the mental health and all that, which is also priority for veterans.
Yeah.
And one of the things that
Yes.
we will be talking about with Carmen and Jose is about how to replicate or support the veterans in Puerto Rico with entrepreneurship. And I know we do a lot of work here, but I think bringing that option to colleges in Puerto Rico, because the thing is, it's important that the veterans receive college credit when starting a business. So our program helps navigate that process through you guys. So the community colleges can award college credit for someone starting a business. So I want to work with you guys on that. And I've been doing this for a couple of years now. It's extremely it's a win-win for the veterans and for the colleges and for us. So is that something that is our one of our projects in the agenda?
Wow.
Well, let me tell you, John, that it's important for you to know that the president now because the Veteran Chamber of Commerce is going to be under the umbrella of the Centro Unido de Detallistas, which is the 5,000 members all around Puerto Rico, which are the small businesses. You know, it's one of the oldest organizations. We are going to be under the umbrella, and the president, actually, part of the associates, they have a college. So we already have the college where we can actually at least start the conversation going with that specific project. And you know, the IOA funds,
Oh,
the Work
yes.
Innovation Opportunity Act fund, that you can access those funds for the veterans to be able to retrain himself into another alternative, which is this kind of
Absolutely.
education.
And keep in mind that also as the national veterans, we also have the WIOA funds on our end to train employers.
Yes.
So we will be talking soon about that. So I just wanted to thank you
Great.
for being on the show. And so you guys know, we talk in Spanish, but now Shelley is also Italian. So we may bring the
I am
show to,
Italian.
and it's a lot of it, Italian veterans, so
Yeah.
it's not just. And when I went to school, Italians were all considered to be Latins. So
Yes.
back then, that's the way it was considered.
Right.
So we may do a show with Shelley with Italian veterans,
Oh, that would be nice.
right? So
Yeah.
anyway, but we'll keep you posted. So again, the most important part is that every veteran, we all are one, and that we work as a family, and we kind of create that chain, kind of like the bees do, kind of create that chain, so they support each other. That's really our goal. Is regardless where you are, it doesn't matter what your background is, doesn't matter what you did, or in the military, doesn't matter. Is that we all one unit. That's what it's about.
That's right.
Well, thank you very much. I'll be in touch with you, and I'm gonna give it back to Shelley.
Thank you, Joe. So you just heard Joseph Molina, who is our executive director of the National Veterans Chamber of Commerce. And we are here with Jose and Carmen, two amazing people that are coming to us from Puerto Rico, and they're doing phenomenal work just with our military and the programs that they run. And we want to thank you both for being here. I know we're almost at the end of the show. We've got about 30 seconds left, but I would love for you to just share with us, how do people get in touch with you? And Carmen, we'll start with you.
Okay, they could actually get in touch with us. They could dept.cdr.pr@gmail.com or
Okay.
787-792-4899. That's the Department of the American Legion, Department of Puerto Rico.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. And then Jose, how about you?
Well, they can access info@veteranosconpr.com, the website. I think that you copy there. You can give a message. You can register there. And I have to tell you that even this program is for everywhere you are. I know that there's veterans in San Diego that if they check the website, they will know, oh, my father can qualify, and they don't know it. So I encourage everybody to get in and check it out.
Yes.
Okay. Because you might have a service that you need and you don't know.
Exactly. And thank you for pointing that out, Jose. And we'll have to have you both back too at some point and share the greatness that you're putting out there for our veterans and the work that you're individually doing. And, again, thank you so much for being on the show.
No,
We
it's our
appreciate
pleasure.
Yes.
It was our pleasure. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, thank you, Carmen, and thank you, Jose. And we want to thank our audience for tuning in today. We are the National Veterans Radio Network, and we're here every Friday. I'm your co-host, Shelly Harrison, and we want you to subscribe, share, and ask those questions live. And wishing everybody a great weekend, and we will see you next time.